Welcome class back to Chapter 7, User Input and While Loops. This is your third video for Chapter 7 and the final video. We're going to cover the last four objectives using a while loop with lists and dictionaries, moving items from one list to another, removing all instances of specific values from a list, and lastly, we'll look at filling a dictionary with user input. So using a while loop with lists and dictionaries. So far we've worked with only one piece of user information at a time. We received that user's input and then printed the input or response to it. The next time through the while loop, we received another input value and responded to that. But to keep track of many users and pieces of information, we'll need to incorporate lists and dictionaries with our while loops. So let's look at our first examples with lists, and that is moving items from one list to another. So we have two lists. We have a list that has three values in it and unconfirmed users. And we're going to run through using a while loop and actually move these values, Alice, Brian, and Candace, to our confirmed users list. So we verify each user until there are no more unconfirmed users, and then we move them. So while unconfirmed users, so while we have values in this list, we're going to go ahead and pop off a value stored in current user, and then we're going to print that current user using the title method. And then we're going to append it. So we take current user, whatever value we popped off, and store it into the list confirmed users. And then at the end, we're going to display all confirmed users using our confirmed user list. Okay, actually confirmed user list here. Okay, so that is this code here. So we are doing no input in this one, so I can go ahead and run this right inside my editor. So we have verifying user Candace. So you'll remember that, can't remember what chapter it is in, but that pop takes the last value in the list. So we verify Candace first, then to Brian, and then to Alice. So Candace is now first in my confirmed users list, and then Brian, and then Alice. So again, using the while statement to run through a list, and of course lists have more than one value, and then moving one value at a time to the empty list using pop and using append. Removing all instances of specific values from a list. So if we have a list that does not have or has multiple values, meaning the list is not just unique values, we can then use a while statement to run through and actually use the remove method to remove that particular value. So let's look at pets.py. And this one is using cat. So while cat in pets, let's go ahead and remove cat from our pets list. So now when we look at our output of our list after the remove statement, we see that all values of cat are removed. Now, in a real world situation, we probably would not want to remove all the values. So we would have to make sure that we didn't just use remove, that we were actually maybe counting to see how many times they were there. But again, I think we have a method that will allow us to bring in the unique values. Okay, so recall that from a previous chapter. Let's look at the next section, filling a dictionary with user input. So now we are prompting again and getting input from our user. So this is page 126. And we're going to look at mountain pole. So mountain pole has an empty dictionary. We have a flag set to true. So while polling is active, we're going to prompt them for their name and which mountain they'd like to climb someday. We are going to store that in response and name. So name is their name, response is the mountain. We go ahead and store the response in the dictionary. So the dictionary is responses. The key is name, getting their name from their first input, and getting their value for that from their mountain response. We then continue to repeat, okay? So find out if anyone else is going to take the poll. So we have a new input. Would you like to let another person respond? We store that in repeat. So yes or no response. If the response is no, we then set polling active to false. So 3 different prompts here: getting their name and their response, their name and their mountain, build that dictionary key and value, and then prompt with a new variable to see if we want to continue the polling. If it is no, we set our flag to false, which then stops our while from being executed. Upon that exit, we'll then go ahead and print the poll results. So for name and response, so name again our key, response our value, in the dictionary responses, remember items was the method that we used to get the key and the value, and then we go ahead and just output that. So we got to run this from our terminal. So I'll go ahead and open my terminal. And again, remember, if you can't, or a reminder, if you can't remember how to get to your directory, visit the lecture video, the first one. And so we're going to type in Python. And this one was mountain underscore poll. Did I type? Oh, I'm missing an N. So what is your name? That's going to become my key for my dictionary. What mountain would I like to climb someday? Would you like to let another person respond? Sure. Respond again? Nope. And here's our poll results. Okay, let's look at our last 2 labs on page 127. 7-8, Deli. Make a list called sandwich orders and fill it with the names of various sandwiches. Then make an empty list called finished sandwiches. Sound familiar? So confirmed users is an example for this one. Loop through the list of sandwich orders and print a message for each order, such as I made your tuna sandwich. As each sandwich is made, move it to the list of finished sandwiches. After all the sandwiches have been made, print a message listing each sandwich that was made. 7-10, Dream Vacation. Write a program that polls users about their dream vacation. Write a prompt similar to, if you could visit one place in the world, where would you go? Include a block of code that prints the results of the poll. So mountain underscore poll would be a great place to start with this one. So if you have any questions on this particular section or any of the other sections or any of these labs, please let me know. Thank you.